Amnesty International says violence against women is a topical issue amongst young people. To help us understand what young people are saying, we have Mienke Steytler from Amnesty International South Africa, and I'm very excited to talk about this because we need to put the spotlight on this issue. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Let's talk about this poll, perhaps even explain the poll that you published. And I'm very much aware that your particular focus was on young people and their voice and what they believe is the reality in South Africa.
Exactly. So it was an online poll. We did it in 22 countries around the world. We asked about 10,000 young people. It was carried out on behalf of us by Ipsos Mori, and the young people, you said young people 18 to 25 years old, and then we asked them questions, you know, what is the biggest human rights issue you feel for the world? What do you think is the biggest human rights issue for your country? And when we looked at the South African results, gender-based violence came out top, followed by corruption and followed by general violence, which really isn't surprising. But globally, for example, climate change came out top. But we think that it's so important because 16 days of activism, the government has launched a campaign that today called 365 days of, you know, activism against violence against women and children. So it really is something that's not surprising to us. But again, it emphasizes that when young people think this, we really need to listen.
I think it's quite sad that young people felt that way, particularly during 16 days of activism of no violence, because this is the time whereby I suppose the whole country or even the world needs to unite in one message to stop gender-based violence, but it seems to still be persisting. Let's talk about perpetrators here for a moment, and perhaps your even opinion as to why you think they're getting away with these hideous crimes.
There's not enough for us as an organization. We have said it before. We need better training with the police about how to handle situations like this. Also, for example, we actually phoned 10111 to see how long it would take to pick up, and we did this a few times. We didn't stay on to waste the time of an operator, but we wanted to see how long does it take. It was actually off the back of a female colleague of ours who was scared one night. She climbed into a closet in her house. This was a few weeks ago. She phoned 10111. No one picked up, and she said she sat there and she thought, this is how I'm going to die. It turned out differently, thank goodness. But for us, resourcing of emergency hotlines like that, when someone is in a cupboard and fearing for her life, that there is a police response that is quick, within minutes, there, and helping this person, and that there is follow-up and training that is in place. We don't want talk anymore. This campaign by the government, I had a quick look, and I'm happy to be corrected, but it looks like, you know, people must all talk about it in their families. Of course, it's an educational issue. It's an issue that we need to talk to young people from a young age, to young men from a young age, also include them. But we also need resourcing. We need emergency hotlines to be resourced, and we need cases to be followed up, and we need victims of these crimes to be treated with respect and to be listened to as well.
Yeah, you mentioned respect, and you know, on my way here to work, I was listening to radio, and a woman said that constantly when she had to call the police to file a restraining order or to check up on her case against her now ex-husband, she was told, why do you keep harassing this man? Just let it go, because it seems relations or friendships were forged with the perpetrator. But it seems that you're saying the justice system continuously fails. You know, some of these women that are calling in asking for help. Do you feel like the message that's coming from government, i.e. the president coming out saying that we need to have conversations and have resources against gender-based violence, is correlating with what's happening right now from the police, from the justice system? Or is it failing victims?
Of course there has to be societal change. Of course we have to do that. But we believe the justice system is failing victims. And that this just keeps it going and keeps going and it keeps happening. And, you know, the big fear is that we'll sit here next year again and we'll be talking about this again, and we'll be adding names to the list that is already too long, and that needs to end, and it has to start with resourcing. It has to start that runs alongside the societal change. Yes, the conversations, the education, but it has to start with how the police resources. And I heard actually the same interview that you heard earlier, but I was in a police station on Sunday, and this is not a GBV case, but a young woman came in and that had been in a very serious car accident. She was very rattled. She'd been crying. The female police officer asks her, "Are you drunk?" She's not drunk. She's just been crying because she had to control her car on the N1 after being hit by another car. That kind of attitude, we don't need that. We need better attitudes. We need people to feel safe when they go there and to be protected.
Well, thank you so much for, of course, having that poll, giving us those statistics, but also, you know, just taking charge and leadership in terms of what needs to be done next. And thank you for joining us right here on ENCA.
Thank you.